Hi everyone, it's Lisa with inkinspirations.com and welcome to our Thursday evening premiere where I will be showing you the cards for the September monthly card class here on Ink and Inspirations, and it features the beautiful Autumn Leaves bundle from page 44 of the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. Now, although that you can finish these cards with this bundle beautifully just as I make them here, if you have other leaf stamp sets or foliage stamp sets, you can also create these same cards. Now, with your qualifying order of $50 or more from now until the end of the month, I will send you the 3 card kits to make the cards that you're going to see this evening, plus an extra finished card for you to use as you wish. So let's get started. We're going to be using the stamp set and this beautiful collections of dies that I have just loved using, and I think you will too. And our first card we're going to make is this one right here. So I've used the leaf stamps to make the background. So let me show you what will come with the card kit. So inside, you're going to have the base at 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half for the standard size card. You're going to have a piece of very vanilla 5.25 by 4 that we're going to use for the inside. A piece of copper clay cut 5 by 3 3/4, and a piece of very vanilla 4 3/4 by 3.5 that we're going to be stamping on. You'll also get a piece of this beautiful copper ribbon and a label that's pre-cut for you so that you can stamp a sentiment on. Now, the inks that I use here are inks that are within the designer paper that coordinate with this bundle, but right now we're not going to use any of the designer paper. I'm hoping that by the time you see this video, there will be that will be back in stock and available for you. Because it is a beautiful, beautiful stack of papers. Okay, so let's get started with our stamping. I'm going to take this very vanilla piece first, and I'm going to get a mat and a piece of scrap paper because this is a photopolymer stamp, and I want some cushion beneath when I'm stamping. So let's put that on here. And you can see the edges of the very vanilla against this white background. And so when I stamp a background and I have different sizes of images, I like to start with the largest image first, which is this maple leaf right here. And I'm going to use copper clay for this particular stamp. So I'm going to use this one twice. I'm not going to stamp off. I wanted this dark, vibrant color. And I'm going to come down from the top, like right here. And you can go off of the side of the cardstock to give it some interest. That's why I have that scrap paper beneath there. And then I'm going to ink it up again. And then I'm going to come up here from the bottom. Okay. So now let me close this ink pad, and I'm going to get my pretty peacock. I love this blue-green color, and I'm using this leaf like an oak leaf there. I say oak leaf, that's what it reminds me of. I don't know all of my leaves that well, all of my trees. Okay, on this one I'm going to come in from this corner and stamp. And isn't that a beautiful color? And I love the combination. And then I'm going to come in from right here. Okay, now let me get my other pair of leaves here, and I'm going to use Moody Mauve. Open that up, and then I have this pair of leaves here. Ink this up. And I'm going to come in from the side here, trying to fill in most of the perimeter of the cardstock here. So let's see. I know I'm going to have a strip going across the middle, so I'm trying to position this where I know that some of this Moody Mauve will show. Okay, and then I'm going to come from down here and put a little piece. And let's go up here. Since this is a smaller leaf, I'm stamping it more times, and it's a good filler, okay? So I'm thinking that's going to be good. Let me see what else I want to do here. I think I'm going to take the veins for the leaves and stamp those in the middle. So this is the one for the big maple leaf. And I'm going to use Early Espresso because I want it to really stand out against those dark, vibrant colors. So inking that up. And I'm just going to line it up here and stamp. Okay. Okay, let's flip this around and do this leaf. All right, now let me take this single one for this oak leaf and then do it over here again. And it just really adds some definition to it. And like I said, if you do not have the Autumn Leaves stamp set, you could use other leaves that you have, or foliage stamps would be beautiful. Any type of foliage would be so pretty. All right, so now I've got the Moody Mauve that I need to put the veins in. Oh, I need that. All right, so here is the coordinating veins for those Moody Mauve leaves. So I'm just going to do that. And here, love the photopolymer where you can just see right through. And right there. And then I have a little one down here. Okay, so I'm thinking I like that, but I'm going to kind of fill in with this vein, leaf vein here stamp. I'm going to ink it up in Early Espresso, stamp off, and then I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a filler. Stamp off. And if it goes over some of the leaves, that's okay. I'm just adding a little bit of interest here. And like that. Okay. I think I like that okay. I think I'm going to come right through there though. Stamp off. Come a little bit more into the middle. What you think? Let's do that. And then I'm going to do it again down here at the bottom. So I'm just kind of playing, you know, just adjusting as I see fit. Okay. All right, I like that. So now let's see what we can do with this. Oh, one of the pieces I forgot to label here. This is another piece we're going to use. This is a scrap that I have left over from the designer paper. It's 1 inch by 3 3/4. It's going to go across the middle right there, okay? I say that. I thought I had put it in the envelope, but it looks like that. Might be a little bit too long, but you know, I'm going to leave it, and then I can just trim off the edge. So I'm going to decide where that's going to go here. I want some of those beautiful Moody Mauve leaves to show. So this will be included in your kit as well. All right. Let's see what I want to do next. Let me go ahead and stamp the sentiment on the label. Get this back in here. I'm going to use copper clay for the sentiment. This label die is also in that die collection. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and, okay, I have this labeled now. It's a 3.5 by 1 piece of this Autumn Leaves Designer Series paper. I believe it, I'm not sure if that's the exact title of it, but anyway, you'll get that strip, and we're going to decide where to put that here on our card. So if you get through stamping, you know, all of your leaves, and you decide it looks better up here, go for it. You know, if you've got a leaf that comes all the way to the center and you don't want to cover that up, move that up. This is not going to matter. All we're going to do here is center that sentiment there and put a little bow down here at the bottom. So you adjust that as you see fit, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put mine on, and then we'll start assembling the rest of the card. Okay, glue. Let me see if I can help it along. Okay, let's go ahead and put that right there. I like that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at the other pieces of our card. We have our base here of Early Espresso. We have the copper clay layer, and this is going to go over top. Isn't that pretty with that? And I love this dark background. Oh my goodness. So pretty. I was inspired by a swap card I received that was done with this leafy background, and I thought it was so pretty. All right, so now we're going to be able to go ahead and put that on the front of our card base. Always check and make sure it's opened on the right side, and then layer that over top. Okay, and now I can put my stamped sentiment right here in the center, and see it extends a little bit above the strip here, above and below. So your copper clay strip may vary with pattern depending on what's available, okay? But I'm definitely going to send you something that has a sparkle in it, all right? That gold, that beautiful gold. Now you have a little piece of this copper ribbon, and I'm going to tie this. If for some reason this is not available, I will substitute, and it'll be pretty. Let's see, I like that part like that. So I'm going to get a glue dot, which makes it really easy to apply these little bows if you put it right behind the knot. Let's see. Here are the glue dots on the other side. And then I'm going to put it right here at the bottom. Then, now that I've got that on, I can trim this. That's way too long. So let me get my ribbon scissors, and I'm just going to angle it up like that. And then again over here. Okay, now let's do something with the inside. All right. So right here, how about if we put one of the copper leaves. Let's try this. Stamp off. Don't want it too dark, and stamp on right there. Okay. And then let's try a pretty peacock leaf. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do Moody Mauve to tie it all into the front. And I think I'll leave off the veins on mine, but you can do whatever you'd like on yours. So many decisions here. Okay, I like that. Dress up the inside a bit. All right, we're going to put that right in there in the middle. And that card is going to be ready to go. Okay, all right, there's our first card. Stay tuned for card number 2. Okay, let's look at the packet for card number 2 for our Autumn Leaves Bundle September monthly class. And we have a pretty peacock card base cut 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. And this is the way you will get it. And you're going to have to do some cutting on this one. I wanted you to learn how to do this. Super simple to cut this for a different kind of fun fold, okay? Then I have the label for the sentiment. I have a small piece of the designer paper cut at 3/4 by 2. A piece of Very Vanilla by it's 5 1/4 by 2. You'll get an embossed maple leaf in Very Vanilla, and then the veins in copper clay. A piece of the designer paper at 5 1/4 by 2, and then 2 strips cut at 5 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so those are all your pieces. Let me show you what you need to do first. Okay, so this is a 4 1/4 by 11 card. We want to cut and split that front, okay? It's not hard to do. You're going to get your trimmer. You're going to line this up. You're going to trim 1 inch from each edge to that center score line, okay? So I'm going to line that up with a 1 inch mark over here. Move the scoring blade out of the way. I'm going to line up. Let me get this up here and try to zoom in. You're going to line up this little niche here in this with the score line there at 5 1/2 inches, okay? And then when you get it lined up, you want to press it down and then cut. All right? All right, then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Line it up with a 1 inch. We're going to come down now to that 5 1/2 inch score. Line it up. Press down and trim, okay? All right, let me come back out. All right, so now you have it like this, okay? These 2 sides are going to be adhered down, all right? This is the only part that's going to open up. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and adhere these 2 pieces down so they're not getting in our way. So I'm just using some liquid glue. And then I'm going to fold it down. Line it up with the edge and press, and then do the same thing on the other side. Press. Okay, so now let's take these 2 pieces of designer series paper and we're going to just glue them down, and we're going to make a border using those 2 1 inch strips. Now if you decide you don't want to cut your card front, you don't have to. It just makes a little fun fold. But you could also just leave it all one piece and line up these pieces about a 1/4 inch from the edge, and then you'll have room for the center here, okay, what we're going to do. But you really ought to try the little fun fold where you do the little slits. Just makes for a fun, different kind of card. All right, so we have those pieces there. Next, I'm going to take a piece of the designer paper. It's cut 5 1/4 by 2. And that's going to be our center card front piece, okay? And so let's go ahead and glue that down. All right, there we go. And now we can embellish. So first of all, let me show you what you do with this thin piece and this little piece of designer paper. This is your inside of the card. I just took this piece that I trimmed off the edge of this 6x6 piece. It's 3/4 of an inch wide and 2 inches across. And I'm just going to put that just like that. And then that's going to go for the inside of the card. And that will be our embellishment for the inside. You can stamp a sentiment on the inside if you'd like. I'm going to leave mine blank. Okay, all right. Next, you have the embossed leaf and then the veins in copper clay that we're going to put on like that. And the main thing here is to just put glue in the center so that if your leaves extend over the edge, which if you've cut it, they will, and you want to be able to open it, okay, easily. So first, I'm going to go ahead and put this leaf down, and I'm just putting adhesive there in the middle. I'm going to angle it a little bit, and then I'm going to take this, whoops, and use some liquid glue on a lot of these little points here, just a tad to help it stick. Okay, and then give it a press to hold it down. Okay. All right, and then next we're going to stamp a sentiment here, and it's just going to go right there. So let me get my sentiment. It says, with a grateful heart, and I'm going to stamp that right there in the center. If I can find that. If not, we'll do without it. Here it is. And just glue it in the front. And remember again, the edges of the label will probably extend beyond this front flap, so you want to put just glue in the center, okay? Okay, and then if you want to, you can add embellishments, you know, little rhinestones or jewels that coordinate, or you can leave it just like this. I thought it was pretty like this with all the metallic within the paper, okay? And make a real sweet thank you card to send to someone. Okay, let's go on to card number 3. Okay, we're ready for card number 3 with the Autumn Leaves bundle for our September card class. And if you qualify and earn these kits, this is what will be in the kit for card number 3. I have a very vanilla thick base at 8.5 by 5.5. And we have these little pieces in here. I have a 3 by 3/4 inch piece of very vanilla. You'll have a piece of linen thread to tie a bow. You'll have 3 gold foil leaves that are die cut from the leaves collection in this bundle. Okay. A vein die cut in copper clay. 2 punched circles. A piece of designer paper at 5.5 by 2, and depending on the availability of the papers at the time that I cut these kits, which will be next week, will depend. It will be some kind of copper clay print that you will get with this card. and then a piece of copper clay, 5.5 by 2 1/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the outside of this card together. You probably are going to need to take your bone folder and give this a good crease. Okay, and then we're going to take these two pieces, the designer paper and the copper clay, and we're going to adhere them together. Now, if I cut correctly, they should be the same length. Okay, if it's a little long on one of them, you can trim off on the back, but we're just going to glue those two together before we put them on the card front. So this design is a way to use your designer paper like in 2-inch strips, even if you have a 12 by 12 piece, which is what this is from. It's from the Oh Holy Night paper. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's with that sweet, and it's the desert scene on the back, and then this copper clay print on the other side. I thought was really pretty. And then we're going to put that right there, and that gives that designer paper look with using just a strip if you're making quite a few Christmas cards or thank you cards, as the case may be. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this over top, and it goes top to bottom, and it's about a 1/2 inch from the edge, okay? All right, so, oops, let's get that there. And then we can take our 2 circles and glue those together. Again, this is very vanilla and copper clay. And that's going to provide the backdrop for our leaves. So I'm going to take this, and I know the position is going to be right here, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down so that when I position my leaves, it's stayed put while the other things are drying, okay? So this is going to be easier to me to go ahead and put this down. We're not going to be stamping on this part. We're just going to be gluing. So it's about center top to bottom, okay? And then a little more than halfway over on the very vanilla side. I wanted to let as much of this designer paper show as possible. All right, so now we have the 3 leaves, and you can play with these with how you're going to position them. I like to put the tallest leaf, which is this oak-looking leaf, in the middle. Here's the maple, and you can overlap. And then here's the smallest one over here on this side. So I'm going to play with it a bit, okay? So here, okay, let me try this in the middle. And this on the side. I want the 3 of them to show as much as possible, and I still like this one in the middle. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there. Hold that, pick up this leaf, and go ahead and put some glue on the back. Come on, glue. Hold that like that. Okay. Now, and I'm just putting glue like in the center because I'm going to stick something behind there. You'll see in just a minute, that little vein piece. And if you put too much, it kind of seeps through those veins, so be careful with that. Okay, let's see. Do I want to take that? I think I do. Okay, so let's do that. Now, you have this little copper clay vein that I die cut, and you're going to cut this apart. I was about to use my ribbon scissors, and of course my other ones have disappeared again. Here they are. So I'm going to cut these apart, and I'm going to kind of lift. I think I like that. So let me go ahead, put a little glue down there. press it down. If this stem is too long, trim it off, which I think I'm going to do. And that's going to go like right in here. Kind of fill up the white space a little bit. Lift that up. There we go. So, okay. Pretty cute. All right, so now we're going to take that piece of twine and you tie it in a bow. I've already done it over here. And I've got it on a glue dot. I'm going to pinch that glue dot behind it and cover up the bottom of those leaves like that. Okay. And if you want to put a little adhesive behind here so that it doesn't get caught when you're putting it inside the envelope, that's fine too. And then we're going to take this piece of Very Vanilla and I'm going to stamp I'm Thankful on it. Okay, let's see. Here we go. I'm going to use copper clay. Stamp it in the middle. And then I'm going to take my paper snips and just angle these sides and do it opposite. Just like that. I say opposite, you know, if you cut up to the right this way, do the same on this side instead of it looking like a trapezoid. Is that what that's called? Okay, so here I'm seeing I have quite a bit of white space. I could have come down with my leaves some. So to fill in that white space, I'm going to overlap like that, okay? And put some adhesive. And then do that. So you have basically a monochromatic card with a pop of foil for those leaves. Pretty, pretty. Okay, so let's look at the inside. Since it is thick Very Vanilla, I'm not going to put another layer of Very Vanilla on the inside. This is a smooth writing surface. I'm just going to jazz up the inside a little bit. So let me get a piece of scrap paper, a clean one. Put that here. And I think I'm going to use copper clay that I'm going to stamp off. And then I'm going to stamp right here. Then I'm going to get the veins that coordinate and do full strength copper clay. Then I'm going to take this little stamp that says, I'm thankful to have you as a friend, okay? And with this being photopolymer, I'm pretty confident in my stamping that I'm seeing that it's fairly straight and going on just as I want it. Okay? All right, there is card number 3. And let's take a look at the other 2 cards so you can see the grouping here. So I think they turned out nicely, and you've got 3 different styles that you can use and you can copy and, you know, make it your own. And again, if you would like for me to send the kits, no stamped images, I can't do that, just the pieces and the die cut pieces to you in the mail. Place an order of $50 or more before shipping and tax in my online store, and I will cut the kits and ship them out hopefully at the end of next week, or start shipping then anyway. So I'd like to have the orders in. The deadline is September 30th. Okay, after that I won't be cutting any more kits. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care. And until next time, make a card, send that card, and make a difference. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.